when we break into this realm of using substance, I think it opens up a portal where other spirits can come inside of you.
It eroded the barriers between us and other dimensional entities. I had angels, I had demons.
How could you separate them?
For all of the beauty of spirituality. There's been a lot of people that have weaponized religion.
Amen. Yeah, I know that. Life flashes before
your life flashes before your eyes. However, and this is where I'm getting goosebumps.
Did you give me goosebumps?
The voices were telling me, like, suffocate yourself. There were inanimate objects performing interventions on me.
I'm just playing, I don't fight, I just pray. I only go the way of mistake.
That's lovely, George. I love it. It's a real gift to be around.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That's a very good question.
I love you guys.
You've given me something to think about.
For a lot of outlets.
Hey, settle down. We got some dogs running around here. Beautiful dog in frame right now. That is Moon Pie. She just drank out of Stevo-O's water.
Fully just.
Do you guys share drinks like that?
Sure.
That's gross.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Like, I literally am a gross guy, so it's all good.
This is the greatest intro to a podcast I've ever done. Welcome back to the George Janko Show. We have an incredible guest today who have brought a beautiful dog named Moon Pie. Stevo, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. You got me at a great time. You really did. I've been in a difficult phase of my life. I'm really like coming out the other end of it.
We'll get into it.
Yeah. I feel just more enthusiastic. I haven't been really enthusiastic for a while. I've been like kind of bummed. And now I don't know, the sun just came out.
Oh, amen, bro.
Yeah.
I pray that the sun stays for a while.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. I've also, I decided I don't need to be on on podcasts all the time. I'm gonna practice just saying like, no, I don't want to do it. You know.
Well, I appreciate you not saying that to us. Sure. No, I've been really excited about this.
Yeah, no, I'm excited as well, and I'm gonna really make an effort to not be showing up everywhere. Like I did this one. That was my check-in. Like I let everybody know what's going on, and I don't need to go repeat everything 1,000 times on hundreds of podcasts.
I'm so sorry about the dogs, by the way. I feel like you're getting so deep, and then like,
what are you apologizing about?
Get out of here.
I'm an animal guy.
When I grew up, I was the only ones out of my friend group that could not watch Jackass. Not because my mom and dad wouldn't let me, it's because if I see somebody get hurt, I feel it.
So you're an empath.
Oh, bro, like the worst. Like, honestly, borderline a chick. Like, if I see anything, like, I will feel it so bad. And I have a vivid memory, so I just replay it in my head. So I watched maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, guys, I gotta go. I can't take this. But I remember when I was walking out the movie theater.
You walked out of the movie theater.
Yeah, no, I had to.
As long as you paid the ticket.
Yeah. I got a refund. I was kidding. No.
I don't know. I mean, what am I going to talk about? I got such a small sliver of that money. But
we'll get into all of that.
It's all good.
I walked out, and then I just wanted to say this. I literally remember thinking, I was like, man, it's really cool that these guys are just a group of friends and they get to create their own content. And I just remember that's very not normal. It was either you're with a production company, it's either Nickelodeon or Disney or MTV, but you guys made this thing your own.
Well, we were with MTV.
Yes, but but you guys created it. It wasn't like they created and casted you. You guys very much created your own world of like, hey, this is our ideas. We're going to bring them to life.
It germinated organically in skateboarding videos.
Yes.
Yeah. So
years go by, and I start doing content with my friends, and I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Like, this is exactly how the cast from Jackass is doing it. And then you come to 1600 Vine and you start shooting with the content kids, and I'm losing my mind. So I
made to Cerny.
Yes, yeah, and I ran up to them. I was like, "Hey guys, chill out." Yeah, put Tommy in the room if you don't mind. I just feel like he's being the one that's a little bit too much.
Dude, I brought Moon Pie. She's a perfect lady. Doesn't make a peep. Has not made a sound. It's your asshole dog that's ruining everything.
Tommy, put Tommy in the bedroom. Tommy.
But here's
stay,
the thing.
stay.
They're having a great time. 1600 Vine. Did you live there?
I did.
Okay, now like just to let people in, we don't want to alienate anybody.
It was a content creating.
This was like in the heart of Hollywood.
Yeah.
It was like I would say a pretty upscale apartment complex, and it was just loaded with influencers that weren't even necessarily called influencers at that time.
Yeah, there were Viners.
It was Viners like on Instagram, and Amanda Cerny was like the queen
Yup.
of it all.
Yeah, every time she posts, million.
Right.
And by the way, shout out to Amanda. Amanda at like, she was absolutely killing it, and I was like nowhere to be in sight of content creating, and she treated me with so much respect, like I was everybody else that had millions of followers. Such a sweet human being.
Shout out to her as well. I want to say that I concur so much, and I have such tremendous respect for her. Like I value. I don't want to say that we're even that close. We're not even that close. But like, if I ever reach out, if she ever reaches out, there's
Big
that.
heart, huge heart on her.
Yeah, I really value my relationship with her over the years. Like she's been just so good to me. And on that same note of treating people well, I want to tell you that I have an employee who his technical job title is ranch hand.
Ranch. Wait, I met this guy at the airport once.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that you remember that is wonderful. Here, you didn't know who this kid was. Like, he just came up to you, the kid's the stranger. And he said, man, he was so excited. He said, dude, I met George Janko. I got a picture with him. Man, he was so cool to me, you know?
Oh,
And like,
dude, that's amazing.
the way that you treat strangers is really like a reflection of how you are.
You know, he told me, and I remember this, he said that you treated him so well. And he was like, dude, he's so nice. He was kind of helping you with your podcast.
He helps me with everything.
Yeah, so he ranch hands. I'm guessing he's all over the place.
I recently moved from California to Tennessee.
Oh, do you like it out there?
I love it, dude. I love it more than I can even possibly explain. I bought a 44-acre property. My property is registered as an official 501c3 nonprofit animal sanctuary. So I'm just like straight. I'm an animal guy, you know. So I'm getting organized with my board of directors, like the whole thing. Like this is actually the first time I've publicly even said that we're officially registered and approved. You know, like
Wow, bro, that's exciting.
I've been waiting to make that announcement. Because when I do make the announcement, I really want to have like everything lined up so that like we can get the fundraiser going.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. Bro, give us all the information. I would love to be a part of that. There's so many of my friends, like Ayla.
Yeah.
Like I have so many friends that love animals. Dude, I would love to just toss as much networking or anything that I could do because you really love, like, we were watching, you have a big heart for animals. When did that start?
I'll tell you, here's a story that I've not beaten into the ground that about just my journey as an animal advocate. I was a professional circus clown before I was on television.
Dude, I literally found out about this today.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you, your dad's working high up at Pepsi, and then all of a sudden...
that's when I was a baby.
Yeah, but you're moving around for his job, right?
I grew up in 5 different countries.
Yes. And then all of a sudden you look at Papa, who's like very corporate man, very businessman, college man, and then you're like, Dad, I want to be a clown.
Well, I mean, yeah, it wasn't quite like as, you know, there was some tough times in between that. My dad was quite a successful corporate executive, and he raised me with enough like pride that, you know, like that when I went to college and just failed out, and then I'm like, you know, like homeless, like I dropped out of college. I wasn't doing anything that my dad like would have really approved of, and as such, like I had too much pride to ask my dad to bankroll my activities, which I knew he wouldn't approve of. So I just fell off the radar, and I was homeless for 3 years. Oh, wow. And you know, I had this conversation with my dad years later, saying, you know, Dad, like,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I think This dog put a button. I don't want to talk over you. 1 second, Bubba. Okay, go ahead. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what he did. He went.
Yeah, she's saying, "Shut up, Dad."
This video is sponsored by Manscaped. This is the beard and balls bundle. They are really good with their products, man. It's just great quality. This thing has 20 adjustable settings. If you want to be full Armenian or Caucasian, whichever one you want. Shh, let's listen to the power. You know the product's good when the packaging is good. Oh my God, they have a nice package for the thing that makes your package nice. Wow, look how chic this thing is, bro. This comes with an interchangeable foil and trimmer blades. And you could switch this thing off your hip like you're John Wick. Oh. I almost took my beard off right now. And you know what? It would have been all gone smooth. The beard hedger has 60 minutes of runtime. That could take out a whole entire Middle Eastern family with one charge. 75 minutes with the lawnmower. I don't know why you would need all that time. But if you did, you got the time. All right, if you guys want to be like me and my friends who use Manscaped, all you got to do is hit the link in my description, click the link, use my code JANKO20 to get 20% off plus free shipping. All of this money back guaranteed if you don't like it in 30 days. So let's cut to the chase while you cut the hair.
But yeah, it was like, my dad, you know.
You didn't want to go to him to ask for money on the to go to clown school.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I went to, after being homeless for 3 years, I ended up moving in with my sister in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that's when, you know, I found out about clown college and ended up going there.
How'd you find out about clown college?
My sister was taking a dump at work.
I love you so much, dude.
She worked as a journalist, and at work in the bathroom, there's a book of trivia by the toilet, and she's just pooping away and reading a book of trivia, and there's a question that said, "What's the only college that has no tuition?"
Stop.
Yeah, it was like something along those lines. And it said the answer, Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College. Like, if you can get in, very difficult to get into, but if you can get in, there is no tuition. Because they wanted there to be like equal opportunity for people to run away with the circus.
Which truly every college should be like that.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be.
You said it was hard to get in. What did you have to do to get
It was
in?
statistically harder to get into clown college than Harvard. Here's the thing. The circus, they don't have the Ringling Circus anymore, I don't think. And they got shut down for animal abuse. And that's the whole reason I'm telling you this story, is because that was my first, like, really passionate position that I took. The first thing that I spoke out publicly in defense of animals was how much I disagreed with what I saw when I was in the circus.
Right.
Yeah.
Broke your heart?
It was upsetting, very upsetting, yeah. And, you know, so like, I went to, like, now the Ringling Circus, there were 2 units of it. Each unit, like, meaning that at any given point in time, the circus was in 2 places because there were 2 of them. There was the red unit and the blue unit. And they each had a schedule of 50 American cities. And then after each year, they would swap. So everybody knew that if they went to go see the Ringling Circus one year, then the next year they could go see it again and it would be a different show.
Oh, awesome.
You know? And each unit of the circus having 50 different cities that they go to meant that every year the circus went to 100 cities. And they held auditions for clown college in all 100 cities. And
Did you go to them or did you wait until they came?
that's such a great question, because when my sister found out in this book of trivia, I came home, I was a drunken, like, slob, unemployed, broke, eating all my sister's food, making a mess of her house, being loud, disrespectful. She found out about clown college, and at the time I was this loser, like, like, I'm gonna be a radical stuntman, like, just like lighting myself on fire at backyard keg parties,
18?
talking about how rad I was. No, I was at that point 22, maybe 23.
Okay.
And no, I was 22. And she's like, "Oh, the clown college, this would be perfect." Because I was like, I'm gonna be a famous stuntman.
Right.
And it did make sense. That was why I wanted to do it. I thought, like, I'm not
It's
really
a foot
getting
in the door.
Yeah, I'm not really getting anywhere, like becoming a famous stuntman. But if I can say that I'm a trained circus professional with a diploma from Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. Like that'll get
She
me.
could start.
Yeah, get me started. My sister thought this could be the way to get my brother the fuck out of my house.
Very
so-
sweet that she took you in, though. That's really cool. Are you
She
guys tight
did.
now?
We're the tightest.
I love
Oh
it.
my God, she's the best.
Where were
So,
you
okay,
when you
so,
found out about this?
I came home and saw this note on the table. Ringling, but clown college apparently like free if you can get in with the phone number. And I'm like, I call the phone number and there's like a voicemail thing, and I'm like, hey, like I'm super rad, and and I'm thinking the clown college could be like really awesome. I think I'd be pretty perfect for that. And like whatever, I gave like my address on said like leave your address, we'll send an audition schedule. And I just like, whatever. So then whatever it was, like when the mail comes, and it's the thing. I come in and I'm like, oh, I don't remember too. I had spent the night before like barfing all over my bro's apartment living room carpet. Like I was doing like chugging like hard liquor, and it's amazing footage that came out of that. But like I did not feel good the next day, and I come home like, oh, I'm dying, and like I go like so hungover, and I walk in and here's this envelope with Ringling Brothers on it. I'm like, oh no way, okay, cool, and like it's like so hungover, and I opened it up, and like it's an audition schedule. It said like, auditions for, and with all the cities, and at the top it was like for summer 1997, and this was the beginning of 1997, and then halfway down this sheet was like a bold line, and then below that line for the summer of 1998. And I look for Albuquerque, where I lived with my sister. I'm go down, there's Albuquerque, but it's below the line, 1998. So it's not for another year. And so I'm like, I toss it. I'm like, I gotta go smoke weed at my buddy's house, like I feel awful. And, so I go smoke weed with my buddies. And when I come home, my sister is at home, like I walk in the door, I'm like, oh, and my sister looks at me and she says, how are you gonna get to Denver by Monday?
Let's make this happen.
Because Denver was above the line. And so like, I'm like, okay, like I get it, that sounds cool. And whatever, like the next night or something, I'm like at a backyard keg party, literally lighting myself on fire, doing simultaneous fire-breathing backflips, which I invented.
Were you filming these?
Oh yeah, for sure. I filmed everything.
Just for yourself? Was it just for like you
No,
and your friends?
like at the time I was like, like kind of making a little bit of a name for myself in skateboarding. In the world of skateboard, I was like this schmuck drinking bong water and lighting himself on fire, like doing anything but ride a skateboard.
I was about to say, I've never really seen you do a trick.
I do skate. I'm just not that great. But yeah, I was doing backflip fireballs at this keg party, and I met this chick that was on spring break. She's getting ready to drive back home to Colorado Springs, and I'm like, oh, can you give me a ride? So I just like basically hitchhiked with this chick and she dropped me off in Colorado Springs, and then I went into like a Denny's, and like the waitress there, I was like, hey, can I get like a cup of water? And she like gives me a free, because I was so broke, and she gives me like a cup of water. I'm like, oh, by the way, like check out how rad I am. I'm showing her like photos of like, like my stunts and stuff. And I'm like, I really need to get to Denver to audition for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. And the Denny's waitress like gave me a ride to Denver.
No way.
So like I show up at the Denver Center for Performing Arts, and they're these two clowns. There were like 60 people in this big like kind of empty gymnasium looking room, like a dance room kind of a thing. And they started. They said, okay, everybody, like don't be intimidated by us. Like we're not important. We're just circus clowns. But this video camera that we're holding is the eyes and ears of somebody who is very important, and we're not going to waste that person's time. Okay, so please, all of you get up against the wall, line up, and what we're going to do is one by one, you're going to jump in front of this camera and very quickly and concisely say what your name is and why you want to be a clown, and then get out of the way of the camera, and we're going to be rapid fire. We're not going to waste any time. So people are like kind of like sauntering in, like, it's like, oh, like I really think it'd be cool to have a huge pair of shoes, you know, like whatever, you know, like just saying dumb shit. And I'm like just itching for my turn. I'm like, oh, like let me at this. And you know, when it's my turn, I jumped in front of the camera and I said, my name is Steve Glover. I'm an aspiring stuntman from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I just hitchhiked all the way from Albuquerque to Denver because I do not want to spend the rest of my life wondering if I would have missed out on the biggest opportunity I ever had. And I did a perfect standing backflip and got the hell out of the way of the camera.
That's gold.
Yeah, and then there were all these like exercises which were basically designed to weed out the inhibited.
The ones that are not clowns.
Well, just like they won't, it was like impossible exercises. They said like, there's an imaginary line down the middle of your body. Like the left half of your body is a lazy cow grazing in a field. The right half of your body is a wild baboon throwing a temper tantrum. Now we want you to perform this. And it's like, I mean, it's like a gnarly thing.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous that you're like have to
It's so ridiculous. And like the only purpose for the exercise was to weed out people with inhibitions. They just wanted people that are just like, screw it, let's go. And they're filming with the same camera. And I was right in front of that fucking camera the whole time, going for it, you know? And at the end of the audition, they said, all right, now we're going to talk. Now you guys have all auditioned. And what that means is that now you're eligible to receive an application. That was what was so rad about it. You had to audition for Clown College to even get an application. And they said, before we give you this application, which is like 8 pages of like intensely personal questions, like when's the last time you cried and why? You know,
Nah,
like,
this is Scientology, dude. They're trying to get some dirt on you, dude.
it was, I mean, it was like daunting. And they said, so these 8 pages, they're like, we do not want you to even, they said, we do not even want you to accept an application from us. And, you know, unless you're passionate about the idea of living in a closet on a train that's literally like 6 foot by 3 foot. The way that it works on the Circus train, like your little room on the train, there's like sofa cushions that take up the entire floor. That's where you sleep. And when you get up in the morning, you prop them up against the wall. That's your room. It's like 6 foot by 3 foot. It's so gnarly.
What is it called when you have that?
Murphy bed.
Murphy bed. It's a Murphy room.
It's like Murphy sofa cushions.
Did you ever try to get that footage from them from the audition?
You know what? That's really interesting. I never tried to get my audition footage. No, but
Who was the guy that was important that was watching the footage?
that was like it's a good question. I mean, it might have been Kenneth Feld, the owner of the Circus. That I don't know.
Kenneth, we want that footage.
Or Dick Monday, who is the director of Clown College. I have a great relationship with Dick Monday too, so he'd be the guy to ask.
Well, I'm sure he's so proud that you went to his school. Now look at you.
He comes to my shows, like when I'm in Dallas. I'm going to say come to my. He came to my show when I was in Dallas. It meant the world to me.
Yeah.
And so they said like if you're not like Pat, you're gonna like get paid. Circus clowns will get paid $235 per week.
I'm sorry, what?
$235 per week.
Now, when
Not a lot
your
of
dog's
money.
eating a rock, is he gonna choke? Or is that good?
She's fine.
Okay.
Not like that. Even back in 1997, $235 a week was not a lot of money.
Right.
And
Dude, what made you so excited to continue this?
Well,
It seems like they're just giving you reasons to
well,
walk
right.
away.
And again, they wanted to first weed out the inhibited, and then they wanted to weed out like the people who lacked in passion.
Seriously.
You know,
It seems to me they were just hunting for the guy that really needed to be there, dude.
Right.
Like, really needed to be
right?
there.
And they said $235 a week, live in a room on a train that's 6 foot by 3 foot, work 50 out of 52 weeks per year. You will have no life. you know, and like this is and you got to want to do that like more than anything. And I was by the time they got done with this, like, do not even bother filling out the tabs. I was like, man, whew, like I don't know, you know, they kind of like I was like, oh, kind of a bummer, you know, like I took the application and I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna fucking hitchhike home. I'm gonna spend money I don't have. I'm gonna buy myself a Greyhound ticket. I took a Greyhound ticket, like somehow or another, like, and I went home, and it was like a couple weeks later, I got a phone call from we're calling from Ringling Brothers. We're like eagerly, you know, awaiting your application. Just wanted they were calling up to like
check in.
They're like, we're really looking for your application. We're just, you know, like and when I got that call, boom, all 8 pages, no time fucking flat. And I ended up the first stunt that really put me on the map in the world of skateboarding was when I lit my head on fire and I had this guy use my head as a fire breathing torch, but he spit the alcohol all over my face and my face is on fire. And I was like, I better hurry up and do this fire breathing backflip with my fucking face on fire. So like I kind of came up short and I burned all the skin off half my face. And I was in the hospital and they were like, you can't even go in the sun for the next 6 months. You've got like, you know, they were like scraping all the burnt skin off.
Did that hurt?
It hurt so bad. And for the next 2 weeks, like I had to peel my pillow off my face when I woke up because it was like oozing pus and stuff. And it was while I was like in the zone of peeling my face off the pillow that I got the phone call from Ringling Brothers and Barnum Valley Clown College saying that not only did I get in, but they were gonna waive my materials fee. Now, to be clear, there is no tuition, but what they do with the clowns, like for you know, they're training people to become circus clowns in the Ringling Circus, and like they have like this like next level otherworldly like wardrobe department that like learns your personality, like your skill set. Like they design this like.
Is this WWE, bro? What is this?
Right, like
so they're trying to figure out who your character is.
You're right, exactly. And they made my that's called an agent suit. What you'll wear like you know if and when you're performing in the circus. And mine like was like I was like a punk rock clown. So I had like this leather jacket, like my my huge clown shoes were like red combat boots, you know.
That's cool.
They were like big boots, but like, you know, I was just punk rock.
Yeah.
And it was like a like $2,000 ordeal to like for, you know, for the materials fee to make this custom. And you had to pay for your own rent. You know, like you just had to, it was like super cheap rent. We were all in like this one apartment building, but no tuition. But yeah, I didn't have to pay the $2,000 for my agent suit. So I went to fucking clown college on a scholarship. Yeah, dude.
Professional clown.
And like I heal like Wolverine. Like within 2 weeks, I was like ready to put on grease paint.
Bro, okay, can I ask you something? Do you not feel what you go through? Like,
Oh no, I do. I do.
And so when I brought up the 1600 Vine thing, I ran up to my friends and I said, yo, you got to talk to me. What's he like? He goes, dude, he got upset with us for 1 second. And I was like, why? He goes, because we bought him fake bottles to break on his head. And he goes, the fuck is that? He goes, I don't fake my things, dude. And he goes, he got offended that we got him fake bottles. And
I've always said that. Like if I fake one thing, like then everything I've ever done comes into question.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly,
Like you don't
true.
want anyone to ever.
And-
Yeah.
But dude, it was a skit. They already knew it was fake.
Understood. And like, there's been like some candy glass here and there. Like the one thing that I'm really like particular about is like just as long as I don't deceive my audience. You know, that's when you're like faking pranks and you've got people like in on the prank and like you're trying to deceive the audience to like mislead your audience to believe that these are like strangers, like bystanders, when they're paid actors, like that you paid to react the way you want them to react. That's the kind of shit that makes my skin crawl. And I'll never.
What about Impractical Jokers? What do you think about them?
I think they're great.
They're real, right?
Yeah, they're not. They're like evidently, you know, it's evident that they're.
Excuse me.
You know,
Excuse me, man.
I mean, they're.
Get down, dude. You're such a strong mind.
I'm just astounded by the success of the Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, they've taken their abilities to a whole different level.
Yeah, and they're like, there's no reason to think that what they're doing is fake because like it's just evidently not, you know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Reed, could you fix my mic? Sorry,
I
bro,
think
bumped
they've got real integrity.
Yeah, and also they're very strong with improv, and you do stand up. Do you do improv with your stand up, or you're more
I
storytelling?
used to mess around with crowd work, and I ended up deciding, you know what, that's just not me. Like my, and early on, when I got into stand up, I was like, I thought it was just gonna be me and a microphone, and I was gonna put in the work, and I was gonna establish myself as a stand-up comedian, like leveraging all of the like legitimately colorful and explosive experience that I've had in my life. I just have so much like,
Sorry.
I have so much crazy experience, life experience, like so much material just from like what I've done in my life that like I felt that I've got an arsenal of material, like life experience to drop from, and that's gonna be my weapon to make me a stand-up comic.
I mean,
And
bro,
I'm
you
gonna-
were a full ride scholarship clown.
yeah,
Yeah. You got
Right.
story for days, you
Yeah.
know?
There's no
yeah.
way.
Bill Burr was defending me. Says, dude, the guy went to clown college. Like he's got to have at least like 5 minutes of material that's good. Yeah, and God, I love Bill. Shout out to Bill Burr for just being the greatest guy.
He seems like a good dude.
Love him. I absolutely love him.
Who are some people that you like when you got to meet? You're like, oh, you're cooler than like how you think they are, and
I
like,
think a lot of people are just super cool. It's easier to be nice to people.
yeah.
It's important to be nice to people.
Some people lose themselves, and they're just not nice to people.
That is absolutely true. And I'm not gonna like pretend that I've always been like great to everybody. Like I think generally I've been like a good guy. I think that what I've struggled with at times is just being overwhelmed and just kind of burned out, like where it all like, kind of death by 1,000 paper cuts kind of things. And so like
Overwhelming.
I end up where I'm not gonna say now because I try so hard to just never let that happen. But there have been periods in my life where like it all just kind of built up, and I was just burned out, and I just couldn't stand, and I would like be kind of short. You want to take a picture? Yeah, just come on, like, and I hate that. I hate that because like, it's so important to me, as I sit here today, to make an effort with every single person that I encounter.
Yeah.
And you know why? Like, there's a big part of this. Is that, have you ever watched a YouTube video about a near-death experience?
Is there a specific one?
Are you talking
There's
about the
thousands of them.
Are you talking about the guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge?
I'm talking about like everyday people,
Yeah.
and there's thousands of them. There's
They'll be standing there and then the bus have just missed him because he happened to have like.
I'm not talking
taken that
about.
step.
I'm not like it's kind of a misnomer when you say near-death experience. Like that's not. It's not that they had a close call where they could have died. We're talking about people who literally died.
Oh.
They literally flatlined. They had the experience of like going into the light and like on the other side where like they all described the same shit, and ultimately they ended up coming back into their body.
What
And
was
they-
the describe?
Okay, there are thousands of accounts. There's even God, what's it called? The Near-Death Experience Association. There's like an official organization for these people, and there's all kinds of YouTube channels that just put out nothing but people giving their accounts. The accounts are so similar. There's real consistency. And what people describe, they describe like the moment where the moment, like I suppose after they died, like being embraced by love in a way that they just cannot, that the human mind, that the limitation of words could never do justice to.
Amen. That's
To
God.
be embraced by it's like just heaven, like just like, oh my God. And they all describe the feeling of, this is, oh wow, like I had this weird dream. I was like in this like meat suit kind of a thing. And now this is, now I'm home. This is where I belong.
Whoa.
Like, I'm not going to say 100% of them, but like the overwhelming majority of them describe that when they learn that they have to go back into their body, they're like, no, I do not want to know. That sounds awful. I don't want to go back to that. But they're like, no, it's not your time. You got to go back. Nobody wants to go back when they experience this ultimate bliss and love. The other thing that's like remarkably consistent about it is that they describe life review. This is like the saying that everybody's heard where
Life flashes before
your
your
life
eyes.
flashes before your eyes. However, and this is where I'm getting goosebumps.
Did you get goosebumps?
It's a real
Could you just move your
thing.
mic towards?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect.
It's a real thing where there is no on this other side, like in the the spirit or at the soul level. There's no limitation of time.
Yeah,
like
they're not in the realm of time.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's like without the. I mean, it's hard we can't really wrap our heads around. But just imagine some kind of way where there's no limitation of time, so that you can be presented with your whole life. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's also like infinite, and the detail of where, and they describe it as like, not like your whole life, but they describe it as like being presented with holographic images of moments. And in this holographic presentation of moments that stood out in their life, not only do they re-experience it, but the kicker is that you experience these moments from the and it doesn't even do justice to say from the perspective, because you feel the feelings of all the people that you had an impact on.
Oh, really?
So yeah, you've lit like every.
So you see what you're doing on Earth.
You feel it.
Yeah.
You feel everything that you made everybody feel, from the
Like
good
like a different
to the
level of
bad.
an empath. Like you're actually
Exactly.
their path.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You're because like this whole concept, you've heard of like oneness. We are one. There's only one thing. One thing is God.
Yeah.
Like we are all God. What we are in all of our little like illusion of separation is a mere exercise in God experiencing itself. Like God as one thing. Like in the realm of the absolute, which is what this is. God, like, if you want to say in the beginning.
Well, I'm so
God,
sorry. I don't want him to turn off. Oh, he's punching so many things.
get over here, man.
Oh, let me turn these off. There's gonna be so many sound effects. People are gonna be like, "What?" Okay, good.
Like call it in the beginning. There was just one thing. It was God.
Yeah.
Like God. In
the beginning was the word. The word was God. Where's your thing? Where'd it go?
My what thing? Oh. my windshield.
So many things.
I'm so sorry.
It's the realm of the absolute, meaning God is everything.
Yeah.
But like God as everything can't have experience, because you can't have here without there. You can't have up without down. You can't have, there has, like, God wanted experience. And so what God divided itself, like that's Big Bang. God said, fuck this, like the loneliness of being pure love, but not having the delicious experience of it. Like, boom, I'm gonna fucking Big Bang. God infinitely divides itself into what's now the realm of the relative, where each particle, each separate thing, you, me, you, we're all just that one thing. But as we incarnate in our bodies, the deal is that we forget that we are that one thing.
So you feel like after watching that, you think that all of us are united in one.
We are all one thing, and the illusion of the separation between you and I is just an illusion. and like we've forgotten. Like that's the deal. When we come in our body, we agree to forget that we are the absolute, the one thing. You know, we are. And
Have you ever been a spiritual man?
I'm intensely spiritual.
When did that start?
When I was out of control on drugs, I was.
So before you sobered up, you wanted to get spiritual.
I experienced psychosis a lot, where I had like a lot of hallucinations, hearing voices, and.
Did you have those moments when you were intoxicated or after?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think that, like, this is kind of like a deeper thought, but when we break into this realm of using substance, I think it opens up a portal where other spirituals could come inside of you.
Big time.
Yeah.
Right? Like the way that I describe it, and I think that psychosis is what's happening, is that like when we put all these substances, and it's very, very remarkable how like so many different substances bring about the same
Energy.
the same symptoms of psychosis. You know, like meth, even like alcohol, like whatever, like
That's what they call spirits, though.
yeah, right.
Kinda
So,
crazy.
And I was very, very like privy to like the spirit world. Like drugs opened up, like you say, opened up a portal.
Yeah.
The way that I describe it is that I piled enough substances into my body that it eroded the barriers between us and other dimensional entities. You know,
You
what
were
I
the
mean?
24-hour train. They could just like hang on. with.
Right. And when you do this with like chemical substances, like you just open up this portal that lets in like whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not
Have you ever-
angels and demons.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
question: have you ever been in a situation where you're like, okay, whatever's holding on to me is not good. I don't want to be a part of this, but you get stuck because you're on this ride. Like, and also, you know how they say time is not a thing when you're in that realm, but it also kind of feels that way when you're on drugs. Did you ever feel like stuck and lost?
For sure. Super stuck and lost, but I also loved it so much. Like, I loved all the experience. Like, I was in on it. I was in on like the stuff, like hearing, like the voices were like giving me like secrets, and like, you know, like I was just like, I just wanted more of it, and like, so ultimately that was like at the end of my run, and I had to like get clean and sober. So
Can I
go to
ask you
rehab.
why? Like, so you're on this tail. You
Well,
like
okay,
it?
why I loved it so much?
No. Why did you stop if you loved it?
Well, I didn't want to stop, but like
Your friends are like, chill.
yeah, it was straight intervention.
So
and
how do
dude,
you get to a place where you stop, but you don't even want to stop? You're stopping because of an intervention.
like I got locked up in a psychiatric ward by Knoxville and the Jackass guys, and
Oh, so you were creeping them out.
oh my god, I was that's all super well documented, and yeah, I was like locked up in a psychiatric ward for like, you know, they had me for 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, like I got to do this,
Okay.
you know. Oh yeah, sorry.
No worries.
I was like, I got to do this. But then when I go to rehab and they're talking about like, you know, you gotta believe in a higher power, you know, like you can't get sober on your own power.
So what
Like-
higher power do you believe in?
Like I had an experience like with psychosis where like one time, like I had voices telling me like, hey, like you gotta do something here, you know. Like I was sitting, I had this big office chair that like spins, you know, like with the big back, the black one, it's on, you know, like rotates.
Yeah.
And I had a pile of cocaine, and I was like inhaling nitrous oxide and all these, just, it was bad. And I was sitting there looking at all this, and I thought like, man, I'm just sitting here killing myself. Like this is bad. Like I'm killing myself. I'm gonna die, you know? And I had this thought like, I don't care if I die. And I leaned forward to like just snort like this big line. And in that, like leaning forward, like having the thought, like I don't care if I die, and I lean, like my experience was physically that office chair I was in, like a huge bodybuilder muscle man, like just took the arm of that chair and just Like it was like as if that chair became like a mechanical bull, like I was spun around, and the message to me was so like intense, so clear. It was like, think again. This incredible, powerful entity spun the chair around, like in response to me thinking, I don't care if I die. Like, think again. That's not okay. Like, you are not to think that way. And I was just like, wow. My experience was that like something so powerful, so much bigger than me, cares about me. Like this chair just spun around like as a message to me that I'm
you're
not
loved.
I'm not to think that way. That was one experience that I had.
What question? I'm sorry to just jump in.
It's all good, man.
What possesses you to get into this way? Did you get into drugs because you wanted a better relationship with your mom and dad? Did you run away from something?
Man, like I mean, it's I have a long like history of alcoholism and addiction, and
So
I believe there's a genetic component.
I do. But also I realized, and I actually talked to Reed about this. People that are like 100% in, it's very hard to get them to stop doing something. It's like an obsession. It's like they become obsessed with it. So you become obsessed with getting high, and it sucks trying to get away from it because like you reach this level of joy and like peace that it's a fake joy and peace that it brings you. And then now you have the spirit realm telling you to like, hey, chill out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had angels, I had demons, like I had like.
And how could you separate them? What was the feeling between the separation?
Well, like when I was inhaling the nitrous, and like my only goal was to, like,
Keep going.
not only keep going, but I would have like the multiple canisters, and I would be like inhaling one and holding that in, like while I was getting the next one ready, and then like exhale only to. Like I was inhaling nitrous oxide like to the exclusion of any regular air, and holding my breath to keep it in, like with the only goal of just falling unconscious. It's called fishing. When you pass out inhaling nitrous oxide, they call
I don't
it,
like the way you're smiling while you're saying it.
they call it fishing. Because you're unconscious and like flopping around on the ground like a fish flops around when it comes into the boat, you know?
And you were doing this by yourself?
I was
alone?
doing it by myself, and I was doing it like the voices were telling me like suffocate yourself, you know, like do not breathe air, like, you know, like and they get mad at me, but I was like, and you know, like, and so like that was demon shit.
That's what I was about to say. So you can tell the ones that were like,
there's a lot of like kill yourself. There's a lot of that. You know, there's a lot of like we love you, we care about you. And then there was a whole other like kind of what I call it trickster spirits, which ultimately was super demon shit. But like they would like create these experiences. That same chair that spun around. Like that same chair at one point, like just erupted into flames. Like, and I'm sitting there. This was the coolest fucking thing that ever happened to me. I was like, oh my God, because it wasn't burning me. Like, I was just like,
you were sitting in the chair?
I'm sitting in the chair, and it just goes up in flames, but it's not burning me. And it's like, wow, like the chair's on fire. And like when I had these experiences, I was super like on like typically like the third day of being awake, like doing cocaine and
is this hallucination
inhaling.
or did it actually?
It's 100% hallucination. Just like the chair spinning. If there was a surveillance camera in my apartment, like nothing happened. This was it's called
I got it.
It's called a tactile hallucination. You feel it, you know.
Right.
Got it.
Like I don't believe on any level that, you know. But then again, like nothing's real, you know. Like so.
I understand where you're coming from.
So like the chair goes up in flames, and you know, even though if there's a camera recording it, like there's nothing to see.
Yeah.
I had the experience. Not only did I have the experience, but I'm like, wow, this chair's on fire, like big time. And I'm like, just take a beat here. Like, I'm gonna check in again. it's still on fire. You know, like this is the coolest fucking thing. I'm not getting burned. It's not like wow, I cannot slow down with the drugs because this is awesome. You know,
So
like
your
that's
fear
demon.
tolerance is like not only in real life is it you don't have a big fear tolerance, but
It's
as
not,
well as
I totally have a fear tolerance. I'm just
You keep
more
saying stuff like this, like you could feel things and you're scared of things,
Yeah.
but I think you're lying because
No,
I'm
no,
scared
no.
of things and I run away from the pain.
my desire for attention simply outweighs my desire for comfort and safety.
interesting.
But you were alone.
Well, right. In this case, but there's nothing scary about it. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Dog, I'd shit my pants if I was sitting there and everything started to erupt on fire.
I know, but it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. Like it was just a cool trick. So
you just look like Dragon Ball
I had
Z.
I had my whole apartment blacked out because I just didn't like sunlight if I don't want to see it, you know. And like the curtains just like on their own, like just like opening and closing, and all these lights flashing like they were never there, you know. There was I had this globe, and apologies to people who've heard me tell these stories, but it's like I came here.
Bro, I'm telling you, my audience never heard this. We're on a ride, they're on a ride,
Okay,
dude.
I do want to say that I came over here and I was like, man, I'm not gonna steer this into a bunch of shit I've said a million times, and like it's exactly what I'm doing. But whatever, like if whatever, I'm not gonna fucking apologize because fucking I don't care.
Honestly, these are great stories.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had this skateboard, which somebody gave me a globe, like like the model of the Earth.
Yeah.
And it's got like the base and whatever. Like I took the base of that globe, it was like a wooden base, and I like with a screw gun, I screwed it to a skateboard, just a plank, the wooden deck.
Yeah.
And then I screwed the deck to the wall. It was like kind of a thin, like over that archway, like over the door to the apartment. So the globe is like protruding, like sideways.
Yeah.
Coming out, and like I'm sitting there in that same chair. It wasn't on fire at this point, but I'm sitting there and I'm looking at that globe, and the globe, like this was the best one. I was looking at the globe and my own face, like the liquid Terminator from Terminator 2. Just like pushed, like the globe. It's like the smooth, and my own face just pushed like the liquid Terminator, like pushed it out, like the globe took on the shape of my own face, and then the globe as my own face just started headbanging, like. Like just rocking back and forth, and again I'm looking at it, and I'm like, that's happening. Like, and I just give it a beat, and I'm like, that is still happening. Like
How much before your, because you got sober, so when was this, like, in this timeline?
the lion's share of these experiences was in 2007. This was the end of my run. And then like
Did you think that they knew that you were coming to a run, so they're like, throw out all the whole deck?
I mean, dude, the stakes are getting very high for me. The stakes were getting very high. There were like inanimate objects performing interventions on me. I swear to God, at the time I had a shoe sponsor.
Yeah.
It was like it was even like a brand of shoes that was made like just for me to be like and it was called Snowshoes. And I had like a whole wall in this apartment. There was like shelves, but vertical shelves as well. So there's all these cubbies, and in the whole wall, in every single cubby was a different pair of shoes for this company. Right? It was just like a wall of shoes, and I was just like so stoked on it.
Sounds
But
cool.
right, but the spirits were in there. The spirits were in there, and it was like, without words. Without even sound, like I wasn't hearing voices, but like just in the ether in the room, like the spirits were telling me like it's time for me to stop. I'm to throw away my drugs. I'm to not do drugs anymore. Like it's time. And I'm looking at this wall of shoes, and all of them like start
their foot?
tapping like impatiently, like we're waiting. We're waiting to get up and you know, throw away all your drugs and stop doing drugs. Like those shoes were impatiently tapping their toes. That was like the message. It was like, wow, like all of these shoes are like having an intervention on me, you know, like and
Waiting for you.
Right, and there was another time where, like, a whole bunch of people like physically walked in and sat down, like they're like we're all here, you know, they sat down, like formal intervention, like everyone like they all sat down, like okay, this is it, and like. I came to realize, like, kind of like as it was happening, like that it wasn't happening. Like there were people walking through the walls. One of them even picked up a bong and took a bong rip, and like
Hilarious that they're trying to get you to quit while.
well,
doing
no,
drugs.
this was a different time. The bong rip was a different time. The guy walked out of the wall. Well, he came out of the bathroom, and then went over like. Picked up the bong, took a rip, which was crazy because the bong came up, but he wasn't there. And he stopped and like put his arm up like that, like there was a respect. Well, no, it wasn't even. Yeah, it was more of like you know. I took it as he was respecting the memory of my late mother. You know, like kind of, you know, not like however Hitler did. It was like, yeah, you know.
Elon.
But then he put down the bong and then walked right through the wall. When you know,
Continues the story.
walked straight through the fucking wall. And like another time, all these people walked in. The full blown intervention. The whole living room full of people like sitting me down, and they were never there.
Hey,
Oh,
could you
they
get AC
weren't?
on?
It was one of my first stand up jokes. Like when I started doing stand up in earnest, like. Like, you know, you have a problem when your hallucinations or whatever. Like, I mean, whatever. Then ultimately Knoxville had the intervention on me.
So talk to me about
then
that.
you
Like,
have-
did you feel a separation between your guys' relationship that it was interrupting it, or like
Well,
what made him sit you down?
I was melting down and broadcasting my downward spiral in real time. And like I sent a mass email to like 200 people, like promising to take my life.
Oh wow.
So that qualified me for the law, you know. And the whole point of all of this is that when I got to rehab and they said like you got to have a higher power, you know, like that's what this like recovery deal is. You got, you know.
A lot of people told me that. A lot of people think it's the ocean. Sometimes they use the ocean or
Sure.
space. A lot of people that make it out depend on God. So yours was
I had a notebook which I would do all of my work of recovery in, you know, like there's a lot of writing that we do. And
journaling is good for you.
journaling, step work, like whatever. It was all in my
It's good reflection.
my book of recovery. And I wrote on, I still have it. I wrote on that cover, I wrote, that chair spun. Straight up. I still have it. I wrote, that chair spun on one side. It was like a mead thing. So like the mead has like the kind of the logo thing. There's just like a little like white outline around that, like, you know, and the composition book, whatever.
Yeah.
I wrote. So like I'd fit it on the left side of like the emblem on the thing, like that chair spun, and then on the other side of it I wrote, those shoes tapped.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that like what my higher power is, I decided in that, like when I wrote that, like whatever made those shoes tap, whatever made that chair spin with me in it, that's my higher power. That's something greater than me, something spiritual, like not of this world, that cares about me.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like, and it helped me so much because I just didn't have any resistance. So many people coming in, so many people need to get clean and sober, but they're like, yo, I can't fuck with the God shit. And that keeps so many people out, you know. And
Well,
then,
think about it. If the spirit realm are demons, bro, if God exists, that's the only thing that could get these demons away is the light. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of people just have like bad experience, whatever, you know, with religion. Religion was pushed on them, like whatever. They've got like
Yeah,
preconceived notions.
they have trauma with that, and that itself is hard to deal with.
I mean, it's like the human nature is kind of a motherfucker, you know? Like religion for all of the beauty of spirituality. There's been a lot of people that have weaponized religion. You know, there's a lot of people have made it all about fear. Like,
I literally just got done talking about this.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of reasons why people
run away from it.
Thank God, like I had all these experiences that I explained to you because, like, I gotta have a heart power. Like, shit, dude. Like, I've been hanging out with God for like the last 6 months in my apartment. You know? That's no problem for me. But let me leave it back to with the circus. And the only reason I told you is one thing happened in clown college. They said. You know, there's like one day, and I reserve the right for this memory to have kind of like, this is 30 years ago, you know. But the way I remember it, they said, okay, we're going to have people from the public relations department of the circuit. And by the way, clown college, when I got there were 33 clowns that got in. And only 10 of us were going to get contracts. So it was like before reality TV. 1997, they didn't have... Maybe they had the real world. I'm not even sure if they had the real world, but they didn't have like competition, elimination, reality TV. This would have been the sickest.
Yeah,
there was like
seriously.
straight clown backstabbing going on, like you know, like you would sneak into the fucking other clown's room and unplug his alarm clock so he oversleeps and so he's not, you know, like that kind of shit.
Wow.
You know, like. There was like people wanted that fucking contract, you know. They made
What they
it
do
into
to you?
Shit wasn't funny all the time.
right. I sabotaged myself like enough.
He
But-
unplugged his own alarm clock. He'll deal with it. The demons are tapping their shoes again.
Right. So one day they're like, okay, the PR department's coming in, and we're you know. So we're gonna kind of interrupt our usual like, you know, programming. Like we're gonna like give our time. And so these PR people come in. They say to the clowns, like they said, you know, some of you are going to work for the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. They had or continue to have like trademark on the sequence of words, the greatest show on earth. You cannot call something the greatest show on earth because that's owned by the Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. They're like, some of you will be working for the greatest show on earth. And your job, some of you, will be to go to cities in advance of the circus to do press, you know, to promote, to you know, generate ticket sales so that you're going to like create hype, you know.
God, this is smart business, dude.
Right. So, you know, in makeup, you're going to be being interviewed. I said, when you're doing these interviews in advance of the circus coming to town, some of you are going to get questions about animals in the circus. And you're going to be asked, like, about, like, the treatment of animals. And when that happens, you shut the fuck up. You have no opinion. You fucking fall down. You're a fucking clown. You do not fucking say a goddamn thing. Of course, I'm like, you know, I'm dramatizing that, you know, but that was just how I was like, whoa, you know, like, you are not invited to fucking speak on the treatment of animals. You shut up. You do not, you just say nothing, you know, and like, it had never even occurred to me, you know, like, to even think, like, oh, like elephants in the circus, like, but that was the first time where I thought, oh, wow, okay. Like they're telling us, like what they came here to talk to us today about is that the animal shit's fucked up.
100%. They'll get shut down.
Yeah.
You can't say anything. So how long did you stay in the circus before you're like,
I wasn't one of the clowns that got the contract.
What?
Oh, really?
No.
Did you go and rat about the animals right after?
Well, no, boy, did I rap. Boy, did I rap. But no, like, my first week, I'm just a fucking alcoholic, dude. You know, like, I had, like, we trained 8 hours every day. Like, it was like 8 in the morning, you gotta be in the gym with the stretching, and then the fucking, like, workout, and then the fucking acrobatics, and the makeup, and the still walking, and the dance, and the fucking comedy writing, and the improv, and the, you know, like.
Was it a dark world? Or is it like happy where they all having fun?
It was dope as fuck.
Oh, so they had a good time.
It was the coolest fucking thing ever. And we trained until 10 p.m. So 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. That's 14 hours, but minus an hour for lunch. So like 10 p.m., then I start drinking. Like I start drinking. And I'm like, oh, I'm like blowing my fireballs, riding my skateboard, I'm fucking rad. And like, but in the first week, I'm like jumping my skateboard drunk down a flight of stairs in the apartment complex we all live in. And there's like again, over that arch, there's one of those fucking things sticking down. And I jump down the stairs, I'm jumping up, and my head goes into the corner of this fucking stucco ledge coming down, and it's just gashed the fuck open. And they're like, you gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like 1 o'clock in the fucking morning, you know? Like, I can't fucking go to the hospital. This is gonna be a terrible look, you know? They're like, no, you're fucking gashed. You seriously need to go to that. I said, well, I'm not going fucking anywhere until someone gets a goddamn picture and takes a fucking rad photo of all this blood. You know?
Priorities.
So to this day, I have the fucking raddest. I made a fucking t-shirt out of it. The photo was so sick.
You did.
Like, fucking, I'm all like, ah, and just like blood just fucking pouring down. And I go to the hospital, and I'm like, dude, they're like, yeah, you're gonna need staples. You know, we're gonna just staple this wound shut. And I'm like, okay, don't have fucking time for this. There's fucking people waiting for me in the waiting room, the emergency room. They're like important people. This is a fucking bad look. I do not have time. This is really not good. I gotta get the fuck out of here. And the doctor's like, well, we need to give you like anesthesia for the staples. I said, fuck anesthesia. I said, pump in the fucking staples, and I gotta get the fuck out of here. So with no anesthesia, the doctor just like, oh, you know, like, he tried one, you know, and he fucking just pumps it in. I'm like, okay, you done fucking pumping? I got 5 staples pumped like in my head with no anesthesia. The doctor says, okay, now you have to come get these out. You cannot, it will be impossible for you to get these staples out by yourself. And if you leave them in for more than 2 weeks, then it's gonna like heal over, it's gonna grow over, it's gonna get infected, it's gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
You have to come back.
You don't.
And I come out of there and I'm like, this fucking guy, this fucking guy just challenged me. You know?
No, don't tell me. You
And
think
I'm
about yourself.
I'm like, the last fucking thing that I'm gonna do. Like the last fucking thing that I'm gonna do is be like, hey, important like administrators of clown college, I need a ride back to the hospital to remind you how unprofessional I am, my drunk ass. You know? So like after 2 weeks, it was like the clowns I was down with, it was like a fucking clown party trying to get the staples out. But the way that they work, it's like it goes. It's like a full fucking thing.
Yeah. Oh.
And like you can't pull it out. You really can't. We tried our fucking asses off. Oh. But like on like the 3rd night of trying, we figured out that like wire cutters, if you can clip them in half in the middle, then you can pull out the 2 halves separately.
You're sick. I want you to know that.
But yeah, it's a minor example of how like, you know, like I just made it very evident to everybody there, like, wow, this kid doesn't even fucking care about being a clown. This Stevo kid, like, he wants to be like the fucking, like, you know, like, just a fucking maniac, fucking alcoholic, fucking crazy stuntman. Like, he's not even trying to be funny. He's like, just like he's just pissed we won't let him light himself on
Steve, come
fire.
here. You're making us sad, Steve. No one here is happy, Steve. You're
Right.
and you're bleeding everywhere, Steve.
Yeah.
Every day you're bleeding.
I did a good first impression. Very
Terrible.
bad from there on out.
That video clip, that sold it. That's it. That's all you
for sure.
needed.
You were
Yeah.
training for Jackass your whole life. I mean, you've done the most insane stunts, the most insane injuries. Was there ever a stunt that you guys did that you're like, we can't post this?
We can't. There's few things, but yeah, there's been some of that.
Can you tell us one of them? That
I made a video with Knoxville called "Things We Were Not Supposed to Film." That covers a lot of that stuff. I made another one like stunts I regret.
We just
doing.
watched that one.
Yeah, that one.
The dolphin one was the dolphin ostrich was hilarious.
I made one 10 stunts I backed out of.
what'd you back out of?
There were
Was it the motorbike one?
that one I was just generally a fucking pussy. I just regret that I even.
But I just find that so crazy that out of all the things you've done, and then they give you a motorcycle and you're like, yo, could you turn this on? Like the fact that you didn't know how to turn it on, it should have been an indication to be like, maybe he shouldn't be on.
Right, yeah, for sure. But like I didn't work for the Ringling Circus. I did work for the Hannaford Family Circus, which operated at a flea market in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And they had 3 elephants and they had a tiger. And these circus owners were so much more fucking scared of their elephants than anybody in the audience ever. They were like, do not fucking go anywhere near the goddamn elephants, okay? We are so fucking serious. Do not. Because, like, elephants will absolutely just fucking go on, like, they lose their minds and they start fucking just stampeding and just trampling fucking cars and people like goddamn dinosaurs, you know, like, and...
Have you ever seen an elephant freak out?
Well, no, but I think that they even had that happen there at the fucking flea market. You know, like they were so scared of that happening, like at any time. And then, so it was like they put on a happy face, but they were fucking shit scared.
That's
of their
a
own
good note.
elephants.
Now, if I'm ever at a place and like, and bring out the elephants, I'm like, don't.
Please.
Yeah, well, it's just not. It's just not rad. There's nothing fucking cool about
I mean, they're
that.
cooped up. I mean, they probably want to run away. Like, you know what I mean?
Here's a giveaway that it's not cool. The way that they get them to perform, it's called break their spirit. You know, like
Dude,
that's not fucking cool. The way that they like get them to perform. Like,
They called it break their spirit.
well, I mean, not
Who's the guy that made this?
Well, I mean,
What
that's
Nazi did they hire to bring these elephants and be like,
I mean,
you know what we should do is break their
well,
spirit?
yeah, that's what they do with horses. You got to break its spirit. You know, like with the elephants, like the elephant handler when he's performing, he's got this stick that's got tassels on the end, and the only purpose of the tassels is to conceal the fucking bull hook, which he uses to fucking stick it under their armpits, because under the armpit of the elephant is where they can abuse the fuck out of an elephant because their skin is so like durable, you know, like it won't show like injuries, but under their armpit is like that soft white underbelly type skin. It's very sensitive there, so you get that fucking under the bull hook under there. They fucking torture the
awful.
shit out of them. Never mind the fact that elephants in their natural habitat will walk 300 miles per day. But these fucking elephants in the circus spend their day chained to a fucking pole or locked on a fucking room in the train that leaves as much space as the fucking clown's room do for the fuck. It's the equivalent of a fucking clown room on the train for an elephant. They don't fucking get to walk anywhere. They're tortured. It's the worst fucking thing you can possibly imagine. It's
I'm not a
Absolutely
fan of this
awful.
place.
yeah, I mean, with the Ringling, they have the ones with the train. These elephants just went from like the parking lot to the fucking flea market, back to the parking lot, back to the flea market. And sometimes they would fucking stampede like in the parking lot, you know?
Yeah, I get why.
And then they had
So the tassel thing is
bull hook, and then they made bull hooks illegal. Thank God, that's one thing PETA really fucking got right. They helped make bull hooks illegal, and without the use of bull hooks, that fucking Ringling couldn't control their elephants anymore. And I think that I'm not sure that my facts are completely right here. They had to like retire the elephants, so they tried to have the Ringling Circus with no elephants, and then they just went out of business. So there's no fucking.
That's why there's no circuses anymore.
There's no more Ringling Circus, I don't think.
Good.
And the Hannaford Family Circus got shut down for their the animal. And dude, the elephants, that's mellow compared to the tiger, in my opinion. Because the tiger, they used it for a magic act. Well, the tiger lived in a cage that was the length of its body. No running, no nothing. And that's just where it spent all of its time, except when it was performing. And when it was performing, they wheeled the tiger cage across the parking lot into the flea market, and backstage, like they butt the tiger's cage up to the magic glass box that the tiger's performance is in. The magic glass box is also like the length of the tiger's body, except it's even fucking worse because it's got like an angled mirror that they fucking jam the tiger, like they make the tiger go under this angled mirror so that like that so that they can wheel out the fucking empty. You're looking at it and it's an empty fucking glass box, and then they put the fucking cloth over it, and then they spin it around 360 degrees, and then they rip off the cloth, and all of a sudden the whole thing is filled with a tiger. You're like, wow, oh my God, amazing. And then now that they've done this illusion, they wheel the thing and then they butt it up against the cage. It goes, that tiger spent its whole life going back and forth between one cage, the glass box that was the size of its body, and the cage that was the size
That's
of
all
its
they
body.
used them for.
And it never got any exercise. It never got out of those two
Heartbreaking.
boxes. And when they were transferring it from glass box to cage with bars, I remember one time where it was almost straight killed, they were so scared of that tiger too. So it was awful. And when I got a
Do they still do this stuff?
I mean, I don't like. I think that.
So is this what possessed you to have that ranch where you're helping animals?
Well, yeah. When I got a platform, when Jackass came out, it was actually like a little bit later when a little bit into Jackass coming out. I was doing an interview and I went on a real rant, kind of like I've been on today, a real rant, and this interview was it reached people at PETA. Somebody from PETA said, "Hey, we saw what you said about the animals in the circus. Could we get you to say that for us and make a campaign?" And I was like, "For sure, yeah, let's do it."
Good for you, bro.
Amazing.
So I did that, and the PETA came to my apartment, which was actually the same apartment.
All the chicks.
Yeah, and
Do you still have this apartment?
no. And that was right when I first got that apartment. But I did this thing, and I told the whole, and when they were breaking down the cameras, this wonderful lady that was running the shoot for PETA, I said to her, it's kind of crazy that I just did an interview for PETA while sitting on a sofa that was made out of leather, but I defend that because I eat meat. At the time I totally ate meat, and I was
so
like,
much.
and I was like, kind of like that, the Native Americans. They're like, they'll kill the animal, but they'll use the whole animal.
Yeah, they use everything.
So it's like out of respect for the leather on the sofa is like a sign of respect for the cows that I eat. It's like the spirit of using the whole animal.
I like that.
What I didn't know is that the leather industry, they throw away the meat. In the meat industry, they throw away the leather. It's the worst.
Why don't they just work together?
You would think, but they don't. They
'Cause it's a time and it's a money thing, and it's awful.
It's the absolute fucking worst. What I said at the time, I didn't know that at the time. I said to this wonderful lady, Michelle,
You said that in the interview.
not in the interview. I said that as they were breaking as they're breaking down the camera equipment. I said, I defend. It seems like weird. It seems like hypocritical, maybe talking to PETA while sitting on a leather sofa. But let me tell you why I defend it. I said, I do not, however, eat mink. So there's no fucking way you're ever gonna see me wearing a mink coat. and when as soon as I said that, wonderful Michelle, she said, "Wow, could we get you to do another campaign that says I'd rather go naked than wear fur? I don't wear." I was like, absolutely, I'll never wear fur. I think that's bullshit. So then I did I'd rather be naked than wear fur. And there's a naked photo shoot, right up my alley. And so that was how I got started with the animal stuff. It was just on an issue by issue basis. But Michelle Cho, this wonderful lady who worked for PETA at the time, she became like my kind of mentor. When I went to rehab, and I got out of rehab and I moved into a halfway house, like a sober living facility. And when I got there, my bed was just pretty gross. There was a twin bed. I shared a room. My pillows were disgusting. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to Target and I'm buying new pillows. I'm going to really treat myself. So I get to the pillow section and I see that there's some pillows that have down which I'm like, this feathers from birds, and some pillows don't have. So I'm like, I called it Michelle. I said, hey, Michelle, are pillows with feathers cruel? And she said, oh God, yes. Wow. She's like, they rip these feathers out of birds while they're alive and just leave them in cages till they grow more feathers, and then they rip them out again. Like that's what your pillows with feathers are made out of.
You know what, bro? These stories you're telling are so deep. To be honest, like I didn't know how bad this type of situation is.
Dude.
These conversations need to take place because I would always hear people talking. I'm like, shut up. But I didn't think they did
It's
that.
so gnarly. Yeah, let alone the factory farming is the worst. It's the worst. But so I was there, I was in Target, and I'm like, oh, easy. I was like, cool, like that. And that. So I made the choice to buy the pillow that did not have feathers. I was like, killer. And by this point, I've now given up eating meat except for fish because I was like, yo,
pescatarian.
I was like, Jesus was a fisherman. Eating fish has to be cool, So I'm eating fish, and that's it, And
he was a carpenter and hung out with fishermen. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, and a Hungarian fisherman.
No, he hung out with fishermen.
Oh, okay. Right.
But fishes were good.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good. So by this point, every decision that I was making, which was distinctly motivated by compassion, made me feel better about myself. And when I went to rehab, I heard people talking about building self-esteem through esteemable acts.
Yeah,
Meaning
the
that
serving route.
Yeah, we do good things that we can feel good about because we did them. And then that ultimately makes us feel better about who we are. Yeah. And then that builds us up, A
lot of people say there's a better feeling in giving than receiving.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one could argue that because we are human. Yeah. The human nature is pretty gnarly. But here's what I think is that the way that we treat others is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves.
Amen. I agree.
9%.
I think that's a spiritual axiom.
So do you forgive people that treat you bad because you know that they're treating themselves bad?
I mean, I think that you got to have compassion for them. I think that when people are particularly hateful on, here's a rule of the universe. Happy people don't hurt people.
Hurt people hurt
people hurt people.
100%.
So it's when people are particularly vicious and nasty online, with hateful comments, so you gotta be like, oh, okay, so that's got nothing to do with me. That's someone that's unhappy, that's someone that's in pain, and they're they're projecting their pain onto me. So let's just have compassion for that person. They're obviously hurting. It's not always that easy, They are all too often successful in being hurtful. Yeah. But at on an intellectual level, that's what's going on. And by making these decisions, the pillows, the veggie burgers instead of the Whoppers, it's going to see Cirque du Soleil, no animals, all of this stuff, it made me feel good about myself. I was reverse engineering, because in my addiction, I my self-esteem was just so eroded. It's the way that I felt about myself, it had become so toxic that I had become capable of being very, very nasty to others.
So you found a way to start loving yourself, and you loving yourself give you a strong foundation for being able to say no to the things that were bad for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the way that we treat others is a reflection of how we feel about ourselves. But we can reverse engineer that by being very deliberate about how we treat others, because by treating others well, in early recovery, I had the most incredible thing. I wasn't even a year sober, And sober is like early, that first year is really uncomfortable. And in that first year, I decided I'm going to go on Dancing with the Stars. This is, by the way, like 2009, when there were literally 20 million people watching it
Right.
on ABC, because like, you
It's
know,
huge.
Yeah, like YouTube wasn't really that much of a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody had cut the cord on their cable. You know, and like I'm on Dancing with the Stars because I'm like, I don't even know. Here, I just got sober. Everybody's talking about you got to deflate the ego. You got to have a higher power. You got to live a spiritual life. You know, how does that jive with being Stevo from Jackass? You know, like, how am I going to deflate the ego, be spiritual, and like be, you know, like not be ego, like I'm fucking entertainment, you know? I was like, I don't know if I can have a future in entertainment. Right. So it was like an experiment to go on Dancing with the Stars. I
got to ask you before you get into
yeah.
it. Why did you choose Dancing with the Stars? Did you have an agent that were like, hey, this could be a possibility?
He said, you're either going to want to punch me in the face or you're going to love this. but they want you because I just got out of rehab and they were like really into like a transformation story.
Oh, I love that.
You know? He's like, this has like really rebooted a lot of people's careers. It could be good for you, you know? Like, and I was like, I mean, whatever, you know? The fact that I could rehearse like a couple blocks down from my fucking shitty sober living house with my dope new pillows, you know, like,
Dude, so you're,
you know,
so you're not even out of this thing yet.
right. I'm not even here.
That's a great agent, dude.
I'm not
That
yet.
is a great agent, dude.
I'm
He just taps into your, hey, excuse me, sir, can I talk to your roommate for a second? You're either going to hate me or love me.
I'm absolutely. I stayed in sober living until I had 2 years of sobriety.
Let's go.
I was like, I fucking didn't want to waste my time, you know? I'm like, I want to fucking give myself every opportunity that I have to be long term.
Praise God.
So like, I'm like, I can rehearse down the road from my sober living house. I don't have to do dangerous shit. I don't have to fucking be like, you know, like I can be like a spiritual, like whatever I'm trying to figure out this fucking new world I live in is. And like, you know, like I'm doing something that's like healthy and like I never have to travel or leave town. I'm just like, you know, it's all right here.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, now I realize I've just put myself in early recovery, like tenuous sobriety, like in front of 20 million people doing something I'm fucking awful at, you know, with like all kinds of pressure, and I can't handle it, and my emotions are frayed, my fucking nerves, I'm a ball of nerves, and fucking, and I'm like, nah, I'm not okay. And I reached out to somebody who I knew had like a lot, like he was like 18 years sober at that time. This guy, I just thought he was the coolest dude, my man LW. And LW, I was like, bro, like I'm reaching out because like I'm not okay. Like,
do we know who LW is?
No, LW he was a guy in recovery.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I told him, I was like, dude, I'm not okay, man. Like I'm just like freaking out. Like I'm at like a break. Like I can't take it. Like I'm not doing good. And he said, it's cool, man. You're not always gonna be okay, man. You know, sometimes you can feel bad. You know. So sometimes like you're not gonna be okay. That's how it is, and that's gonna happen.
That's a bar.
And the guys, what LW said, he said sometimes you're not gonna feel okay, and the one thing that will always help you in those times is to conduct yourself like a gentleman. If you act like a good guy, if you treat people well, then you've got that to feel good about.
Master your emotions.
You've got that to
He just
set that.
takes his pillow, hits it a few times. That guy's kind of right, dude.
Right, and it's just like, you know, it just goes back to the whole thing of like treating people well. You know, we're only one thing. You know,
when Jesus was with his disciples, the cool thing that he said that is basically the foundation of what you're saying. He says, I give you 2 new commandments, and if you follow these, you'll basically accomplish everything else. He goes, love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself.
Sure.
And so like this whole time you've been talking is just kind of like you got so much reward out of just being kind to people when you were really, really frustrated. And that's a great takeaway. It's a really good takeaway. I never saw it from a satisfactional standpoint. I always just did it because I thought my God wanted me to do it. But you're right. I do have enjoyment being kind to my neighbors.
Well, you can very selfishly view every moment in your life as an opportunity to express yourself as the person you aspire to be.
Amen.
You know, you can like, and that way, like just very selfishly, you get to walk around thinking, man, fuck, dude, I'm an awesome dude. You know?
I love this.
Yeah.
Before we touch down, I want to dive deep a little bit. I know you.
Oh,
have
the lady Michelle Cho
yeah.
is now a board member on my official 501c3 nonprofit animal sanctuary.
Cool.
Yeah.
All the way
That's
from a
full
pillow, my
circle.
man. That's kind of
Yeah, from
crazy.
the, straight up, all the way from the
PETA commercial.
the you know, lashing out at the circus for abusing animals, like, you know, the pillows, like every step of the way.
She's been through it
And
all.
like I love her so much. And the name of my organization is called The Radical Ranch.
The Radical Ranch.
TheRadicalRanch.org. And
That
like,
hasn't been taken?
nah,
The Radical Ranch? That sounds sick.
yeah, it's pretty rad. Dude.
Yeah,
I love that.
44 acres of fucking
Do
awesome.
you have animals on it yet? Or
Yeah,
are you
we
starting?
got 4 goats, 2 pigs, 3 cats, 2 dogs.
Woo.
But my first fundraiser is gonna be I need to create a whole new enclosure, which is like a lot of fencing, like to create a cow enclosure, and then, you know, a new barn for the cows, and then like to rescue like sweet little baby calves from becoming veal.
Oh.
Yeah, because like veal is like kind of like
Delicious.
it's really sad, dude. It's really sad. Like
I don't eat meat, so.
Veal is
Yeah.
like baby goat, right?
right, yeah, well, no, baby cow.
Baby cow.
Yeah, baby
Yeah.
cow. And
Why is it sad? Is because they just take it right when it's born?
Well, I mean, it's just like everything. I mean, the whole fucking, you know, animal agriculture, like on an industrial level, like factory farming.
I don't
it's
know.
like-
I don't research any of this because I'm scared it will actually make me stop eating meat.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I just don't want to stop eating meat.
people talk about like hunting. Oh man, like I'm a hunter. I'm like, dude, I respect the fuck out of hunters. If you get the balls to kill the fucking animal yourself, like, dope. You know, like what bothers me is like people just want to have the blinders. Like, oh, I don't want to know like how awful it is. That's how it fucking.
That's me. In fact, I'm not gonna lie.
I think people should have to get a license. I think it should be the fucking federal law that you have to get licensed if you want to eat meat as an adult. Like, in order to obtain this license, you should have to like spend a day in a fucking factory farm to see what the experiences of these animals are. Because let's remember, it's not just people. That God divides itself into everything to have the experience.
I do think, yeah, people who hunt, as much as like, it's a crazy thing, but at least the animal that they're killing, you know, had a full life and it was running around in the wild.
Wait.
But
Running in the wild, let's talk about that. Because in factory farms, you've got so many fucking animals crammed into spaces.
yeah, no,
that-
I mean like hunters that go,
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
a personal that
That's
goes
what-
in the
that's
wild.
what I'm down with.
Yeah,
Right.
see,
There's
when
a
I eat a
difference, yeah.
burger, I picture that he had a good
Yeah,
life.
no.
He's running in the wild. Some guy's with his son. He goes,
Where are
son,
you
you
eating
take
the
the
burger
shot.
from? Where are you eating the burger from? You're eating it
In-N-Out.
from a corporation
In and out.
that wants to have the highest profit margin. So they're gonna buy the cattle that cost the least to keep their costs down, to keep their profits high. So how do you think that shakes out for the experience of the cows that they're purchasing? You know, like you've got factories that are filled to the brim of cows that aren't able to even walk because they're butted up against every other cow. They have the most miserable fucking life you could possibly imagine because that's on an industrial scale the way to keep costs down if you want to have like that much meat.
What about Wagyu?
I
They massage those cows. Those cows has better lives than a lot of us.
mean, I don't know, man. I just think that like
Would you eat meat if the animal wasn't abused?
that's why I'm down with fish. Like a fish that's caught in the wild, just cruising around having its thing, and then like
You guys eat the same way.
Yeah, because I stopped maybe like 12 years ago. I went full vegetarian. And then maybe about 2 years ago, it's like, you know what? I'm going to start eating fish again. So now I've been on that wave and it's nice. And yeah, I only do wild caught. Even when I'm at the restaurant, I'm that annoying person. I'm like,
You know,
is it wild
even
caught?
like like factory farming fish is kind of not that much of a bummer. Like I kind of think.
Yeah, but it's gross.
It's not. It's certainly not as bad as what's going on with the other ones. And I'm not here to like nobody's fucking perfect. You want to like have a totally cruelty-free life. It's like you're gonna have to live under a rock.
Right.
But like egregious shit is I try to avoid.
Do your best, and as Paul Saladino says, don't let perfect be the enemy of good.
Right. Exactly. I love that. And I want to like refrain from trying to like shame you or anything. Like part of me is just like here. I'm like, oh, but dude, like, how's the experience of the cow that you're eating from In-N-Out? Like that's kind of me like out with my like bludgeoning you with like a shame approach.
Thank you for apologizing. I wasn't gonna sleep tonight.
I'm disappointed in myself for doing that. Like because that's not like constructive.
I don't think you came off that way at all.
Well,
you
I mean, like I'm passionate about it, but positive reinforcement is how I would like to affect positive change. To tell people like, oh, what you're doing is bad. Like shame on you for contributing to factory farming. Whereas my approach with the Radical Ranch is that I want to create an environment that facilitates experiences where people can actually look into the eyes of a cow. Yeah. Have that experience thing, and maybe it'll occur to them like when they have an experience with a cow, like looking into its eyes, like wow, like this is an intelligent being with feelings, with emotions, like it loves its fucking like family, like, and maybe like that is enough to inspire somebody to like why would I be mean to this being that I just looked into its eyes and like had a moment,
I think that's a really fair thing because a lot of people don't have those experiences with any of those animals ever.
Right, and even just me talking about this, like it's like when I say I chose the pillow that didn't have feathers, and I felt really good about that. Like I've never once like been like, oh man, I'm really fucking got this shitty pillow. Like, no, I love especially down alternative has come so far. Like, pillows have just gotten so dope. Down alternative pillows from Target, the Casa Luna. Get the fuck out of here. That's the best pillow ever.
Okay.
Right. Like, but in making that choice, it's just, and for me to say, like, when I've made choices that were inspired by compassion, it made me feel better about myself. It made me a happier person. And it made me less likely to try to hurt others.
I love that.
Yeah, like just like positive reinforcement,
When we first started the podcast, you said that you were kind of just getting out of, and now you have a sunny type of
Yeah,
feeling.
I mean,
what was it that you were going through?
I think what probably the best way I could describe it is that in 2022. I'll even go back further. And I was doing the comedy club tour from 2010. I went like up to the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic. I was still at the comedy clubs. Then the world shut down, and like I adapted. So I started doing a podcast, my Wild Ride podcast. I got really more like strategic with like merchandising, like I wasn't on tour anymore, so I had all this, and I needed that, but the pandemic, I needed it. I needed a break. I was just touring myself to death, and it gave me all this like this kind of freed up my time, and so all my energy I went into like put it into other things, and I just evolved kind of, and I built like a merchandise empire like during the pandemic. Like I was like started selling, like I was like, oh, we'll try signing skateboards, like creating my own Stevo skateboard and signing them, and it's like, oh my god, like we just sold so many of these fucking things, like let's do it again. And then like I just like in a business perspective, it was like I built enough of an audience. I was like monetizing it well. People were spending money like crazy with all the stimulus money, like everybody had cash to burn because the government was just printing fucking trillions of dollars. And then like on the back of that, when the world opened up again, like my agent was like, dude, we're not even entertaining comedy clubs like anymore. You just cannot even fucking fit in a comedy club. We're going to like big ass theaters.
Let's
fucking,
go.
And that was when I bought my tour bus and fucking like, and like So I bought my tour bus at the end of 2021. And then 2022, February, beginning of the year, boom, new Jackass movie. First Jackass movie in 10 years.
Did you know you were going to shoot that?
I knew that from 2019 that we were planning on it.
Yeah.
It came out in 2022. It was the #1 movie in the world. It opened up the same weekend as another movie that had a $150 million budget and lost to us.
Let's go.
It was like universally like hailed as like a fucking like thumbs up, fresh tomatoes, like by the critics, where they had just shit on us on all of our previous movies. It was like a real moment, you know, and like, and it just energized everything else that I was doing. Like everything was firing. The podcast, the merch, the tour, the fucking come on. Like, I had a year in 2022 that was so astoundingly successful that I don't think that I'm like manifesting negative energy or anything, putting it out. Like, I'm never gonna fucking touch that that year again. I think that's just how it's gonna be, you know?
Yeah, but I think you thought that when the first Jackass.
That's probably true too. That's probably true too.
Life is gonna keep moving.
I mean,
dude.
but that's the thing. Like,
you can't keep
you know
your
what?
mind in that.
And
Fuck
you
that.
know
I'm not even
what?
gonna let you have that
Thank
mindset.
You. Thank you.
No.
That's the fucking funk I was talking about.
Yeah, it's just, that's a stupid funk.
Right.
Listen,
that's the
dude,
funk I was talking
life
about,
goes like this and like this and like this
Right.
and like this. When
Right.
you're here, just remember the moments that were like this, but never ever let go of the fact it's gonna go back here.
Well,
you
I
did
mean,
4 Jackass movies. You didn't even think
Right.
the critics changed their mind on the 4th.
Right.
Who are you to say that the 5th won't even be better?
Here's where I really like ran into a lot of difficulty is that I was selling merch so much during the pandemic. I was like, fuck this like third party fulfillment, like packing the goods and shipping. I'm like, I'm opening up my own fucking warehouse and I'm not getting my own warehouse staff and I'm gonna fucking
Smart.
ship my own shit. And that went so fucking well. I was like, you know what? We need fucking more space. I got a second warehouse. You know?
Where's the bad part? I want to know where the bad part happened.
Well, where's the shoot?
I'm opening businesses left and right. My fulfillment center called it Tight Box Packing. This is the most epic logo you've ever seen for anything. And I got my warehouse staff and we're shipping out merch and it's crazy. Then I'm like, you know what, back in 2019, I started my own hot sauce business. Stevo-O's hot sauce for your butthole.
Yeah, that was after you turned around and flashed the audience, right? Is that where you got it from?
No, oh my God, that's amazing. That's not where I got it from. But yeah, that was now like in all of this incredible growth, like warehouses, warehouse staff, like hiring people left and right, independent contractors, like the overhead that my expenses became like obscene. And it was great, like when just so much money was just flying around everywhere. Like it was like, ha, 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 you know? But then as like, you know, a little bit of distance goes from like the Jackass movie, not so white hot anymore with like now that movie's in the rear view. Oh, now the stimulus money that the government was printing, they're not printing money anymore. Now people's expendable income is drying up. Yeah. Oh, now they've increased the interest rates. Now money's not so free and abundant. Now people are like really tight, not tight, you know? And like 2022 and the pandemic was like a perfect storm of like more financial success than I had. I had more employees. You know, my dad became super involved in everything.
Well, that must have felt good, huh?
It felt super good, and he's involved to this day.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like that, so many, like I had so many people who their livelihood was dependent upon me.
That could get stressing.
You know,
that's daunting.
And I had my dad with like the numbers and like, oh, you know, like how are you gonna keep this up? And like honestly, it just became about like money, you know? And like maybe the success that I had, a lot of it just came off the back of like just turning all of my content into like, and buy my merch, you know? And I made it so much about that like the internet, like in parts, just turned on me, and like I started seeing more negative comments. Like I've never had negative comments. Like they've always been there, but like they became really prevalent. You know.
I used to work with this guy. You know him. His name is Logan Paul.
Well, right.
He said something to me that stuck out to me. He goes, "The comments that hurt you are the ones you know
You
are
agree
true."
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that myself.
Can I say something, dude?
Yeah.
It seems like you're just mad at yourself for making a tiny bit of too much of a business move. I think you just should regroup with your heart and be
Well,
like,
that's what I've just put up a warehouse at the Radical Ranch. You know,
dude,
so,
you're just a learning curve.
I built my own warehouse. Like the thing was that like the perfect storm of success in 2022, and then like the end of 2023 and 2024, it was like the opposite. It was a perfect storm of of the opposite of success. You know, like the interest rates going up, like the no more stimulus money, like
It just feels like it wiped you out a little bit.
the like the not so hot with the jackass, like, you know, and I guess like and with the seeing negative comments that I agreed with, like it just, I was like, dude, and like the pressure from people working, like, oh dude, come on, like promote. And I'm like, dude, like I really don't want to fucking promote. Like you know, I'm not a fucking, like my job's to entertain people.
Yeah, not
you know,
sell
like
people.
don't talk to me about fucking promote. Talk to me about the fucking awesome thing that we're stoked about, that like we've got that spark of like, oh my God, that's fucking amazing. Don't just tell me fucking, hey, get on the internet and ask people for their fucking money. People are sick of that and they're fucking bitching at me about it. I don't like it because I agree with it.
Yeah.
So I just straight stopped promoting. So all of that money that was coming in to pay for all the overhead really just, and then like I started my financial reports on a monthly basis started reflecting like negative numbers, and I'm like, now I'm fucking bleeding money because I've got my expenses so bloated, and now I'm like, fuck.
So did you reestablish it?
Yeah, and then it like I was like, I gotta cut expenses, you know, and I was pretty emotional about that and some of it, and so like I said, guys, like, I don't give a fuck how it happens, but I gotta stop losing money. This is stupid. I've worked too hard in my life. I'm not gonna fucking all of a sudden be like, dude, where did it all go? Like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like, no, like I'm gonna fucking stop losing money.
Yeah.
I don't know
Live
how.
to fight another day. That's
Yeah.
not a bad choice.
I
Yeah.
don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. And I didn't know. So all the people working for me, they didn't know if their jobs were safe because I didn't fucking know if their jobs were safe, you know? So like they kind of like started looking around, like, and a lot of like some of the team went away, and like that made sense. Some of the team went away, and it was devastating to me, you know. And so like I've just been kind of reeling. I've been reeling from like just kind of a cooling off of where I was just on fire, and then it all just like my expenses like just started turning into hemorrhaging money. And like, there's a lot of stress that comes with that, and there's a lot of like, kind of identifying with success as like your identity. It's dangerous.
Because Stevo-O is a brand, but also it's a person.
Right, for sure.
Can
And
I say something though?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for this type of behavior. When something falls apart in front of me, I get excited because what's around the next corner, God is preparing me for that. And I could see just from sitting on this couch that God prepared you with that business for the ranch business. So he's teaching you.
I believe that could be really true.
I think
too.
that's going to be bigger than you and Stevo brand. And on top of that, bro, you're going to change people's lives of how they operate on earth. You're going to be showing the empathy and the empath people, hey, you should really feel this. And I think God was trying to show you, hey, don't spread yourself too thin over here because these animals, their lives depend on you. So you're going to have that feeling moving in where they're going to say, hey, let's make this bigger. And you're saying, hey, no, let's make this foundation stronger here.
Dude, that means the world to me, man. And yeah, dude, I believe that could be really true, man. And
Radical
like, you know
Ranch,
what, like,
bro.
I just like I just fucking kind of. I stopped just looking at, like, I'm pretty disciplined. I don't look at comment sections.
It eats you up.
I don't look at fucking Reddit. You know, there's like super like jackass like groups just solely here's something that like this guy that paints, he's painted a couple murals at the Radical Ranch for me. Like he was painting a mural in my skate ramp barn of all my, I call it the Radical Roller Rink, and it's got a huge mural of all of our farm animals on roller skates, like in a disco roller rink setting. It's a sick ass mural, and the Deadpool/Wolverine movie came out while he was painting the mural, and he and my ranch hand Daniel went to go see it. They come home from this Deadpool movie, and this mural painter guy, Scott Chestnut, he's amazing. He goes, "Wow, dude," I guess he'd been looking at like feedback about the Deadpool movie. Yeah. He goes, "Wow, man, nobody fucking hates Marvel movies more than fucking diehard Marvel fans." Like the people who are so dedicated to like the most like fucking like they're like, well, this fucking sucks because fucking
the comic book didn't say that. Yeah.
I think it's critics.
And it's like this like white hot like super dedicated like jackass like Reddit subgroup like. Nobody fucking hates Stevo more than fucking the diehard jackass fans. Yeah. Right. It's crazy. And so like I just don't
you care a lot about what they think. And that's very good. And I'm glad that you get to express this. It's good to care, but it's okay. Remember, there was a king that all he did was he hired a man to tell him that he's just a human and he's normal. The power is you really listen to what these people say. So the high with everybody's like, I love the new fourth movie, bro. You're the greatest. You're the best. You're up here. And then the same people are like, what the frick, dude? Why are you doing this? Why are you selling that?
I don't even think that they love the fourth movie. I think they're like the Deadpool fucking guy. They're like, fuck this movie.
Dude, I think it'd be good for you to truly just only listen to the people that care about you.
Here's the thing. Like, I got very upset about like a lot of feedback that I agreed with.
Yeah, I mean, that hurts.
Now, and do I think that like I should never like try to like earn a living anymore? No, like because at the end of this run, like when I'm fucking falling apart, when I'm an old ass man, like do I want to have put so much of my life and so much of my effort, my work, and so much sacrifice, frankly, to like have nothing to show for it? No, like I want to set myself up to be comfortable later in life based on the fucking work that I've done. And so I just have to have a balance, I've got to have a balance where I can entertain people. And if I'm going to monetize my audience, then it's like, hey, you know what? If you don't want to fucking buy or sign up or whatever the fuck it is, then don't. There's no pressure here, like don't. If you're not into it, then don't fuck with it. And I will respect my audience enough to acknowledge my job is to be an entertainer.
Dude, you're gonna be an entertainer. I think your mindset is like do it until the wheels fall off and then see where we did. Bro, like no disrespect. I hate that mindset of yours because you're not going anywhere. Even when you're older, you'll find a way to make money. You'll find a way to entertain, even when the wheels fell off.
Dude, that's where I just turned the corner, like, and I really came out like this mindset that you said you hate. Like, I'm pretty done with it, Like,
that's good.
And
yeah, because it's bullshit. It's lying. You're doing. You're listening to those demons, and you're not even taking drugs anymore, dude.
After we stop recording, I'll tell you this idea. Like, I've got a call tomorrow. Like,
is that what you were talking about outside that you're trying to get all together for?
Oh no, it's all. There's a lot of stuff happening right now.
This is what I'm saying, dude. Yeah. You not only have things in the future you can't even tell, bro. Listen. If you were sitting drunk on your sister's couch and she threw a piece of paper at you to try to be a clown and you did it, I think when you're older you're still gonna figure out a way to like go out and do it.
Man.
Exactly.
Like I'm re-energized, and the thing is that the most important thing, and I said this recently, like where, like I think I kind of lost my way when it just became about the money and like the pressure from my dad to earn more than the year before, and the pressure like, hey, get online and sell more because we all want more money, like, and I lost my way because I put the cart before the horse. I made it about the money and not about the entertainment, and not even, I'm not gonna say I made it about the money and not the entertainment. Worse than that. I made it about the money and not about the enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. The word enthusiasm? Like that when you break it down to its roots? Entheos, with God. Like
didn't know that.
yeah, enthusiasm. It means like with God. So like when we're enthusiastic, like we got to follow that. You know, like that's God
Because you're in
pushing us
gratefulness.
towards something.
Amen.
So I made it about. I got to make my relationship with my higher power
Amen.
number one, and I've got to theos. I've got to follow enthusiasm. I have to be the guiding light for what I do in my career and my business and my personal life. It has to be joy.
Amen.
I need to like if I follow joy, if I follow enthusiasm, and if I prioritize my relationship with my higher power through how I interact with every fraction of God divided so that it can experience itself. If I can have my relationship with all of it, that's God, is how I interact with every little fucking splinter of God, which is you, which is you, which is the cows, which is everything. Then everything's gonna work out.
Well, your friend that told you you're gonna have bad days was a
LW.
LW. I want you to remember this the same way that he said it to you. There's gonna be times where you're like, you don't feel great. Dude, there's gonna be times in business that you made a wrong move or you feel not great. But that doesn't define you. That's just a blimp. So when you feel that next time, remember that your career is its own IP, which means it's gonna have its ups and downs. So when you're down, just remember, this happens with bro. If it's gonna happen to Nike and Apple, it's gonna happen to us entertainers. Do you get what I'm saying?
For sure.
I really, I want you to be able to stop telling yourself that like, okay, when this is gone and when this, it's because like you're in a preparation of doom.
Right.
And it's bullshit. You're a talented guy. Till this day, you're entertaining us. So it's like, you got to start believing in what the audience believes.
Yeah. I also want to shout out another thing. That I'm in a new relationship with a new lady.
Yeah.
And
She's very beautiful. Hi.
And she's the way that you're speaking, and I want to say that like the very spirit of the words coming out of your mouth come out of her mouth all day, every day. You know,
Partner is your rock.
You know,
help you get
she
through
says
things.
like, yo, shut the fuck up with that negative bullshit. Like, dude, like it's perspective, you know.
You need a good dance partner. Somebody's gonna lift you up.
Yeah, whatever you fucking water, that's gonna grow. Like, stop
Yes.
fucking watering bullshit.
Bro, I'm not joking. Outside, I have all these. We have bushes to cover our fence. There's one that was dead. They planted it dead. It had nothing in it, just thorns and nothing, just dead. So I literally was on the phone with the guy and I said, "Yo, we got to get rid of this asshole. Like replace it now. I want you guys to come and replace it now." My wife goes, "None of that." She goes up to it, grabs this dead tree and says, "In the name of Jesus, you will be fruitful, you will grow, and you will be beautiful." It is the most beautiful one outside right now. It has the most plants. It has the most leaves on it. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, we are. Okay, my higher power is Jesus. And in the beginning of the Bible, he says, in the beginning was the Word. So he even starts by speaking things into existence. So when you walk around being like, well, it's coming, the end is coming, it's going to come. But when you say, yo, business is booming, because everybody else kept telling you, hey, Jackass 4 is amazing. You're like, it is amazing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you put it out there. But then you started seeing the numbers and you let the numbers and the comments control your thoughts to speak negative. And that's why when you're sitting here, I was like, no, none of that. I don't believe any of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like, I'm fucking ready to go, man. Like, I got enough feedback from Reddit, you know, that like I very proactively addressed things that I felt that I needed to work on, and it's like, and you know where I'm at now is that I don't even have to. I don't have to look at negative, because when I say something, here's an example. I had Mark Wahlberg on my podcast, and it was this crazy thing. I had him for 20 minutes, but even though he didn't want to stop for like 30 minutes, all of his people are like, you know, like. But I told him about this thing. I was like, hey man, you know, like I described how I felt like I'd lost my way and made things about money, and like really like I'm recently fucking decided like, hey, I'm making my faith, my relationship with God, my number one priority, period. That's just where I'm at. And then I had the audacity when I put that episode out to
Oh no. Oh no.
In that conversation about how important my relationship with God is, I had the audacity to cut to an ad read for gambling. And it didn't even occur to me as like, that was just like, it was just like a knee jerk, like muscle thing, because like I'm a diehard. I'm wearing a UFC shirt right now. I fucking love watching the fights. I love watching the UFC.
Yeah.
And
Was
like,
it a Prize Picks thing?
and DraftKings. And
Mark,
like,
I'm telling you, God is number. Hey guys, number 4 is fighting.
but whenever I would do an ad read, I would do it once a month before the pay-per-view for the big, huge fight.
Yeah.
And it would be like me, just my way to just ooze enthusiasm about the fights. I'd be like, dude, I'm giving you my picks. I like on this fight, like I'm going with this guy. I love the fucking fight so much. The UFC, let's go. And so that's like what got me into doing it. And then I was like, when I put out the episode, I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't even need to look at the fucking comments. Like, I know what they are. Like, what a hypocrite. Oh my God. Like, I'm fucking literally.
Did you have a lot of comments like that?
I didn't look at them.
I don't think you
But
would
see,
have. I don't think anybody, because
No,
think about it.
there were definitely some. There were definitely some. But here's the thing.
But dude,
That's
you're
where I'm at.
beginning. You're
Oh,
beginning.
thank you. I was just gonna say, anyone's gonna realize your verbiage. You're saying I'm gonna start putting God as my priority.
Right, but
How are
here's
you
the
to know?
thing, is that like what a good place to be in, where I don't have to look at the comments, and maybe they aren't there. But like I'm my own fucking moral compass.
Let's
like
go.
when it occurred to me, the episode's already out, and I was like, oh my God, like that's pretty fucking whack that I did that, you know? So I picked up the phone and I called my fucking podcast guy, and I'm like, bro, I'm not fucking promoting gambling anymore, period. And I never have again. I won't.
No.
I said, you know what? Like moving forward, I will not promote fucking shit unless it's actually good for people. Or at the very fucking least, not harmful.
Let's go.
I will not
High
do
five.
fucking harm, man. And that's like, you know, it would have been nice if I figured that out before I started talking about how holy and fucking I got that.
But you
No,
wouldn't have
but
figured
that's
it
how
out
you
without
do it.
Exactly.
You had conviction, dude. Hey, dude, this is brilliant. Like, dude, this is actually really funny. I lost family members to gambling. Like, they literally.
My fucking own grandfather blew his brains out after he gambled away all his money.
Yeah.
Never knew the guy.
No.
'cause he's dead.
Yeah. So I made it a rule in my heart, like, I will never promote gambling because I seen what it does to homes, and I won't have it. And so I told my dad it was a pretty crazy gambling. They have a lot of money, and at the time,
Yeah.
I'm not rich. I'm going buying life, and I wrote down the number they offered me to my dad. And I looked at it. I was such a drama queen. I looked at it and I ripped it up and I said, never. And my dad goes, are you fucking stupid?
That's great, dude. That's great.
I'm so proud of you, dude.
Yeah.
It seems to me that you're just now you're addicted to being a better human. But here's the thing, that could get dangerous. So be careful with that. Give yourself grace. Because how you wanted to be positive with us about making right choices, make sure you're positive to yourself when you do make the
Well,
right choices.
dude, I got my girl over here telling me that same shit all the time. And dude, I think this has been fantastic. I was like, dude, I'm gonna be an hour and I'm out. I'm not gonna tell any fucking stories I've already fucking told. I'm gonna be in a fucking hour and I'm out.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
But yeah, that's where I'm at, and I really feel good about it, man. I feel good about a lot of things. I'm really fucking excited. I'm creatively on fucking fire for the ideas that I've just recently come up with, for the ideas that I came up with ages ago that I'm finally, you know, like.
You got that power. And bro, now you got us in your corner. So bring us involved. We'll love to promote it. We'd love to be a part of it. Except for the craziness. I won't do that.
Dude, I'm just following fucking my joy. Joy is my guiding light. If I'm not fucking enthusiastic, then fuck it. You know, I'm like I don't even. All I want to do is fucking like what the shit that I fucking really think is awesome. That's how I became successful in the beginning. Because I was like, dude, if I do this, it's gonna be fucking rad.
Yes.
You know, like there wasn't even the idea that it could generate money. It was like, dude, I'm just gonna be fucking. Remember, I told you I went into the fucking Denny's.
Yeah.
Said, hey, you know, like when I called Ringling, hey, you know what? Like, I'm really fucking rad. Like, let me show you how rad I am. Like, it was just like I wanted to just be rad. Yeah. I was because I thought that if I could light myself on fire and simultaneously flip through the air while breathing fire, that would be so fucking awesome that nobody would be able to deny that it was awesome.
Right.
And I got to piss so fucking bad that we're going to wrap it up right here.
Yeah,
And
this
dude,
drive
I
is
love
pretty
you.
far. Thank you, bro.
Thank you so much.